All this week in a special series called Champions for Change, we're spotlighting everyday people who don't make the headlines, but still smash barriers and lift us all up.
So my champion is named H.O.P.E, and he started an organization called We Are Hope. I went to Vermont to see how that group is bringing mental health care to school kids at no cost to the parents.
When I walk out the door and I'm headed to work, knowing that we are literally saving and changing lives, that's the most powerful thing.
In a rural community tucked between the border of Vermont and New Hampshire, the seeds of a mental health revolution are quietly being planted. H.O.P.E, co-founder of the nonprofit We Are Hope, is bringing mental health services to schools at no cost to the students.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm here to make sure that if you guys have a difficult day, that you have somebody to talk to.
We are able to help kids that would not normally have access to mental health support. That's how we're changing the status quo.
When the pandemic hit, I didn't recognize my babies anymore.
17-year-old Lindsay and 12-year-old Jacob struggled with anxiety and depression during the pandemic.
It kind of felt like there was this icy ball in the back of my throat. I just felt so hopeless.
It just felt like I was stuck in a cage that I couldn't escape from.
I didn't know how to help them. If we didn't have We Are Hope available through the school, I could have lost my kids down a dangerous little path.
One of the top causes of death for teenagers is suicide. These statistics are really frightening. I'm the mother of 3 teenagers, so I'm always attuned to their moods and their mental health. And then I personally remember being a teenager. And for me, those were turbulent years. Between the time I was 15 and 17, I lived in 6 different houses. There was a lot of upheaval, and it did end up affecting my mental health. Did you have some of those same issues?
I struggled significantly with anxiety. In my 20s, I was hopeless, alone. I made a deal with myself that I was gonna go to the local park and just end everything. And I woke up and I was like, I'm still here. I'm still here. My purpose right now is to make sure that there's not another kid on this planet that has to feel the way that I felt.
How's it going?
Good.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited too.
How does We Are Hope function in this school?
If we have a coach in a school for 6 hours, we can see 12 students 5 days a week for about 60 to 90 days. And then we rotate them out and get another 12 students in. It's very individualized. Typically when we see our kids, it's because of a behavior. Blowing out of class, throwing a desk, not doing your homework. We work backwards from that behavior. We teach our kids thoughts create emotions which influence or impact our behavior.
Before We Are Hope entered our school 4 years ago, we had 2 school counselors for roughly 300 kids. We did our best, but it wasn't enough. We Are Hope is what I consider a missing piece of education. If students get the support to cope with anxiety, then they can learn.
We gathered at the Heartland Diner to hear from the kids themselves. How many people felt more anxiety or more depression during the pandemic? All of you.
It was a really big negative impact on my life.
Kind of getting in fights and stuff.
I was nervous a lot. I had a lot of anxiety. My depression hit me so hard.
Give me a technique that We Are Hope taught you.
I learned this new breathing technique called birthday cake breathing. You smell the birthday cake and then you blow out the candles.
How do you smell the birthday cake? How many of you, show of hands today, feel hopeful? Even though there are tough things in the world, that's so great. How do you explain what we just saw here?
We keep changing the culture. We listen to what they need and then give them the skills to learn how to work through it.
At the end of your day, when you're alone
Yeah.
and you're driving home, what's in your head?
How do we reach more kids? That's what I'm always thinking about. We want to be everywhere in the United States. I do not stop. I am beyond relentless.
And let us just say, if you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts or struggling, call the National Suicide Prevention Line at 1-800-273 8255, or you can text TALK to 741-741. Of course, you are not alone. There are people waiting to talk to you, and you can do so anonymously. I love what they're doing there, Victor, because, you know, I've talked to my kids about this. The amount of time they spend each week in algebra, learning algebra, but 0 time talking about their mental health in school. Why?
You know what I love about this specifically is that they're with the kids for 60 to 90 days. So it's not a drop in and here's my issue, here's some techniques, go back about your life. They get to work through a process, which is so important. I mean, for those of us who go to therapy and need it, it's important
not a
that
one
you
and
stay
done.
with it. That's right.
For sure.
That's
yes,
right.
they know the kids and they teach them tools.
Yeah.
So it's really great. And of course, we'll continue to share these inspirational stories all week. Be sure to join Victor and me and some of your favorite CNN anchors for a special night spotlighting everyday people who are changing the world for better, Champions for Change. It airs Saturday night at 8 Eastern. Victor and I will be hosting.
Yes. Smell the birthday cake, blow out the candles. Stay with it.
That's exactly right. I've used that
Yes.
technique since then.